In this video, we'll be journeying from the start of the Al-Can Hwy from Dawson Creek up to I don't know where. Come along and join us. Hi, I'm Debbie, a Cajun girl who loves to travel the world. Join my husband Ronny, my brother KP, and his wife Babette as we continue our journey from the crawfish ponds of Louisiana to the mountains of Alaska. We're at the start of the Alaska or Al-Can Hwy, mile marker 0. As custom dictates, we put our stickers on the Alaska Mile 0 welcome board. We spent our first night on the Al-Can Hwy boondocking at the Kiskatna River Bridge pullout. The Alaska-Canada Highway is better known as the Al-Can Hwy or the Great Alaska Highway. It traverses 1,422 miles of secluded country. The route begins in Dawson Creek in British Columbia and ends at Delta Junction, Alaska. 2/3 of the Alaska Highway, originally called the Pioneer Highway, is in Canada. During World War II, after Pearl Harbor was attacked by Japan, the U.S. officials knew that the Alaskan Territory was unprotected and needed an overland military support route. The Canadians approved with the stipulation that the U.S. would build the road and turn over the management to the Canadian government. 1/3 of the soldiers were black, and they were from the South, so had no experience with the northern cold. They were not treated well. For instance, in Skagway, they could not go into town lest they mix with the white women, and they basically received no recognition. Relying on native guides and following existing trails, the U.S. military, with the help of civilians, finished the road in less than 10 months. The Pioneer Highway was started in both the north and the south and joined near British Columbia, Yukon border when two bulldozers met. The opening of the Pioneer Road was celebrated at Soldier Summit, which opened in 1942. The original road had a 25% grade and was practically accessible to only military vehicles. Since then, it has continuously been improved and enlarged, and now there's a 10% grade, which is still steep. We found a nice boondocking spot right next to the Bucking Horse River Wayside Provincial Park. Ronny loves his leveling system. All he has to do is look at his phone and he can tell if the camper is level. We have a nice spot right off of the Bucking Horse River. No one else is here. The next morning, it was time to get the truck cleaned. Ronny really likes his Ethos Resist spray. It removes the bugs from the truck easily. He also uses it to wipe down the whole truck. It's a Graphene hybrid spray, which makes it easier to wipe off bugs. There's information on it in our description. If you're enjoying our channel, please like and subscribe. It's time to dump and get more water. The Alaska Highway is famous for its cinnamon bun stops. Of course, we're not going to miss this. We absolutely love the atmosphere in here. And yes, it is as good as it looks. I wouldn't want to be standing on the edge of that grass. The Stone Mountain Lake has a gorgeous color. It would be great to swim in if it weren't ice cold. Here's a poor shot of a moose and her calf running into the woods. We're spending tonight at the Racing River Dispersed Camping. We're right on the river and we really like it here. Lots of privacy too. Okay, we're at Toad Lake, and how much is the fuel per liter? $2.19.9. So that's right at $6.18 American cents per gallon. So far, gas has not been terribly expensive, but here they know they have us because there are no fuel stops for a very long distance. Fortunately, our tanks were only half empty. At Fort St. John, we entered the boreal forest, or the taiga, which circles the northern hemisphere, forming a ring around the Arctic Circle. The boreal forest is characterized by black spruce, white spruce, lodgepole pines, fir, and poplar and aspen trees. 75% of the world's boreal forest lies in Canada. The dust is flying up from the gravel road. We came across 4 ewes, or female longhorn sheep. That really made my day. We finally reached the Liard River Hot Springs, and don't you know, it's lightning and thundering. And then, as usual, the rain came. A little bit down the road, it stopped raining, and who did we run into but the famous buffalo herd of the Al-Can Hwy. Finally, we made it to the Yukon, and then eventually Watson Lake and the famous Signpost Forest. It began in 1942 when a soldier, recovering from a construction injury, added a sign for his hometown of Danville, Illinois. People have been leaving signs of their hometown since then. Today there are over 100,000 signs left behind. It is now a Yukon historical site. For those who didn't come prepared, the neighboring visitor center lends out hammers, and there are supplies to make signs. As you can see, the signpost forest goes deep behind the wall that greets us. There's one from New Zealand. Sure. Oh, that's Switzerland. I don't know. Just look how deep this thing goes. It's huge. Someone even made a sign from a baking pan. Here's a sticker from someone we watch on YouTube. Aren't we there yet? This is your sign. Tell me, is this Oakdale, Louisiana? And is this St. Francisville, Louisiana? KP's putting up our signs that Ronny made for the occasion. I know it's hard to understand, but we could spend all day exploring here. These are our stickers, and we put them on the blade of the bulldozer. People say this is the dry time of the year, but as usual, we got chased away by the rain. We found our camping spot at Rancheria Falls Recreation Site. There was a large covered picnic area, but there were too many mosquitoes to hang outside. This is the Nystatlan Bay Bridge, and they're actually building the third bridge next to the bridge we're using. The old one was a wooden bridge, and it's no longer here. I caught this brown bear on video as we sped by. Sorry it's not too clear. This is a very poor view of the beautiful, gigantic Teslin River. We found our campground at the Champagne Aishihak land. The campground was enclosed in a small circular area with lots of plants and flowers. Boondocking in Alaska feels like the purest version of camping. No reservations, no noise, and no one else close by. This is one of my favorite products from Command Hooks. I don't know about you, but we seem to always have wires hanging for chargers for our phones and computers and everything else. But with these, you can just loop the wire into the hook, and it's neat and out of the way. There's information in the description if anyone's interested in it. How easy is that? Our next stop was the Cajun Cultural Center. It was very interesting and informative. It tells the story of the Champagne and Ishihawk First Nations people. If you know anything about this rusty old gun, let us know in the comments. There were many artifacts to enjoy. This exhibits show all of the mountains in the area and shows where the First Nation people used to move around. Now, aren't they cute? If you're wondering, I'll not talk about Whitehorse since we'll be visiting Whitehorse on our return trip to Canada. As we passed Destruction Bay, the roads definitely did get worse. However, they were not impassable as long as we drove slowly. As we were only an hour from the border and everyone was getting tired, we decided to stop at the Dry Creek rest area instead of our planned boondocking spot. This is fine for one night, and we had a quick meal of taco soup. All along the Al-Can Hwy, there are pullouts that people can park in to sleep, to camp, or just to take a little rest. And the roads continue to be rough. Today is Babette's birthday, but we're going to have to wait to celebrate until we can get closer to a town. We're at Beaver Creek, which is the last town in Canada before arriving in Alaska. Did you know that the 1,538-mile border between the United States and Canada is the longest undefended border in the world? Welcome to Alaska. Ronny's standing with one foot in the United States and one foot in Canada. And now I have my feet in two different countries. This is a fun stop. We're coming to the American Customs. I hope this goes well. I think we are prepared. So all they asked at Customs was, what do we have from Canada? And that was bread. So that was pretty easy. They're not perfect, but the roads are much improved. And this is the Johnson River. We're reaching our campsite at the Gersel River wayside. It looks pretty much like a dried up river, but actually there are 3 active rivers inside of it. It's just such a wide expanse. The temperature is perfect here. There's a slight breeze and no mosquitoes. The area is huge, but we don't seem to have any visitors at this point. With the drone view, you can see just how vast the parking area is. After relaxing a bit, we'll go out on a little hike. This is really a sandy beach. I love that it's a sandy beach here, and if I had different shoes on, I'd go walking with the guys, but I'm just not dressed right. I'm going back to the campsite to sit in a comfortable chair while I watch the boys on the lake. There's actually water on the other side. That's one of the little streams they had to cross. The water's flowing north, so it will drain into the Arctic Ocean. The next morning, through the rain, we finally made it to Delta Junction. The Visitor Center has signs to commemorate the end of the 1,422-mile Alaska Highway. There's equipment here that was used to build the highway in the 1940s. The guys found the giant mosquito sculptures that honor Alaska's most famous residents and remind us of home in Louisiana. We learned about the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, an engineering marvel that carries oil nearly 800 miles from Prudhoe Bay to Valdez. There were a lot of other interesting exhibits, including Alaska artifacts and animals. I love the trumpet swans, and we were told by the guide that these are the largest flying birds. In our next video, we'll go deeper into Alaska. See you on the road!